Hi friends, this is Em of Playing with Em and welcome back to another video. Today I am going through my book journal and honestly catching up for the entire month, which I don't recommend. It got to the point where my hand hurt so much that I could not actually fill out my NetGalleyed page, because I had an entire month of 28 books on my reading log to fill in. But this is a collab with Knit Plan Jess. It's our ongoing monthly stats collab, and I really like it. It makes me really happy to sort of see what she does and see what I do and get a little sneak peek into the bullet journals. This month, I spent a week in Vancouver. I almost said Toronto. And so I read 11 books while I was there. Although, honestly, most of those were on the flight there and the flight back. Just because, I've never been a big movie watcher on planes. I'm a really big plane reader. To the point where the woman next to me on my flight into Houston was just like, "How many books did you read?" And I told her 4. And she goes, "Did you hear that? She read 4 books." And then she told all of her family around us. It made me, I was laughing so hard. I think that my favorites that I read on the plane would definitely have to be Tilly in Technicolor by Maisie Eddings, which comes out in August. It's a young adult novel set in Europe, which I've never been to Europe. I've always wanted to. And I feel like maybe Gil and I will do a honeymoon and we'll go to Europe or something. I'll have to figure out how to get all that vacation handled, but I think that's going to be our goal. That was my favorite that I read on the plane. And then the last one that I read on the plane was Better Hate Than Never by Chloe Lisa, which comes out in October. It is the sequel to Two Wrongs Make a Right. And so it's in her Shakespeare retellings Wilmot Sisters series. It's a retelling of Taming of the Shrew, which we love. And really, honestly, just sort of kicked off a string of good books that I was reading just all in a row, which I am very happy about. I read and loved Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which was one of my 23 and 23 books because I had to read her. And in super exciting news, we talk about this a little bit later in the cutouts, but my ratio is up. It is up. It's currently at 91%, which I started the year at 92%. So that should tell you sort of how this year has been going for me. But I read all of the books on my TBR. It's currently July 4th. I have read all of my July arcs and I'm working on my August arcs, which is really exciting. And in June, I barely read any audiobooks. And this is because I was traveling so much and I just didn't have the bandwidth for it. And so that's usually I'm reading 2 books simultaneously, an ebook and an audiobook. So that means that 24 of the books that I read were basically all ebooks, which is just mind-blowing. It's actually a little weird. I'm not sure if I marked it correctly in my spreadsheet because Business for Pleasure was definitely a physical book. I read it before it released, but that is beside the point. I do also think that this might be the end of the Canva color coordinated pie charts, or at least the end of them in how I'm doing it now. So I have the lucky bit where I already have the finished spread in front of me as I'm recording the voiceover. So we were about 50-50 on disability rep. Over 50% had LGBTQ plus rep in it. And something only 20% had a BIPOC author. Which, given that my goal this year was to read 50% BIPOC authors, I think I'm really failing at that. So then what that means is that I either need to change the goal or reassess my reading. And I think it's gonna be both, honestly. I think I'm gonna lower my goal to maybe 35%, but also make sure that I'm actually prioritizing authors of color when I'm requesting books on NetGalley and when I'm going through my TBR, because yeesh. In terms of my sort of statistics for my genres, romance, fantasy, and thriller definitely won out this month. Romance almost always wins just because I got my start on NetGalley as a romance reviewer, so I get a bunch of widgets for that. But I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of fantasy that I read in June. I keep wanting to say January. Oh, I also am realizing that on my right-hand side, I actually wrote ARC in 2 places when it's actually supposed to be new releases in the green part. It's fine. But I think that in the summer, right? In the summer is when you have the library challenges where you win a personal pan pizza or whatever from Pizza Hut. The summer is definitely when I feel about reading. I feel like reading so much more in the summer. In the winter, I just kind of want to like get cozy and, you know, like watch a movie or something, which I do regularly watch movies and TV shows still. But I think that summer is for reading, and I'm getting into a little bit. I can't remember if I show this to you guys or not, but I'm getting a little bit into making book-specific journaling pages again. I was gonna continue with it in this thing, but my hand hurts so bad. I'm wondering if like I need to get checked out for carpal tunnel or something. But yeah. So I'm taking the 5-star books that I read and then making specific pages for them, sort of based on the themes of the book and the colors. And I'm really excited. Honestly, it just makes me so happy. So we might make a video potentially about actually making some of these book journal spreads. The key is to A, read the book, B, write down your thoughts about the book. It doesn't have to be a review necessarily, just like what you liked, what you didn't. Give it a rating if you're a rater. And the big thing here that I need to be doing is like highlighting quotes that you like, or things that make you laugh in the book, or things that were just really cool. On my Kindle, you can just like use your finger to highlight it. And when I'm reading a physical book, I can annotate it. The problem is when I'm listening to audiobooks, I just can't. So like, I'm thinking about, you know, the books that I review on audio, I can write the reviews, but I can't highlight the quote. So I've been sort of like writing them in a notes app, which it makes me seem kind of unhinged in public when I have my headphones on and I'm just frantically typing on my phone. But once the book has come out, potentially other people might have highlighted the quote that you were interested in, so you can use that as well. But I do think this is the last month of the pie chart, just because it doesn't make me happy when I look at it. I look at it and it feels kind of clunky. I'm thinking of maybe breaking it up into sections instead, sort of similar to how I do my weekly spreads, or at least how I used to do them a lot. But let me know, how do you feel about the pie charts? Because I'm indifferent or negative. I don't know. In terms of my monthly stats here, I'm getting these from Storygraph, so my pages and my moods. 28 books. I still need to go back and update my Storygraph because all of my reviews are not there. But if you want to be friends on Goodreads or Storygraph, let me know and we can make that happen. As always, happy planning.